Hello, everyone. My name is Boitshoko Phalatse, and I'm so excited to be part of this phenomenal conference and a platform connecting us on lasting and impactful projects. I currently work as an IT and enterprise project manager at Berklee College of Music in Boston. I've worked in various roles in IT, on process improvement and automation, as well as data integration and reporting across numerous industries. This includes financial services, telecommunication, management consulting, and higher education. I'm also a founding member of a nonprofit edtech startup aimed to promote literacy and technology in rural communities. Before we go deep into the weeds, I wanted to provide you with a brief background of the need and trigger for this topic. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals identifies the following as key areas of need where there is opportunities to create sustainable impact around the globe. Some of the listed opportunities are to eradicate poverty, inequality, climate, environmental degradation, prosperity, and peace and justice, as well as promoting health and well-being. Our program focuses on Sustainable Development Goal 4, which is quality education for all. With the current pandemic, societal underlying problems have not disappeared. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals still exist. Education, Sustainable Development Goal number 4, continues to be at the forefront. We are no longer not only faced with ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all, but we are now having to work towards meeting this important goal through the accessibility and availability of digital resources due to current challenges presented by the pandemic. In the old world, where interactive and engaged teaching was encouraged in a classroom, how do we pivot from traditional forms of teaching pre-COVID to accessibility and collaboration without face-to-face interaction? Our organization's initial mission when we set off a few years ago was to promote literacy and encourage a reading culture. Our perspective has always been that if a learner is unable to read or write, nor comprehend what is written or read, not only can't they communicate, but they are unable to tackle basic numerical problem solving that advance with the curriculum. This is a crippling factor across the entire system. A nation with a significant large illiteracy rate cannot fully and fairly participate in the growth of its economy. This session will look at marrying old school methodologies with new school technologies, as well as adaptation into digital educational platforms and resources. We look at the framework our organization has adopted to promote innovation, problem-solving outlook, collaboration, critical thinking, and experiential learning among our learners using technology as a driver. This includes coding platforms we have introduced to our primary school learners, which has sparked a sense of interest, accomplishment, and understanding fundamentals of coding. We believe that technologies such as case study simulations and augmented and virtual reality will expand the interest of STEM as a career choice within young girls in rural communities and reach the desired social breakthrough and advancement through these digital platforms in order to positively disrupt the use of and access to information and spread freedom of opportunities. Now that we have given you an overview of the structure of our topic, I want to tell you a little more about our organization, the work we are doing, and plans moving forward. Tsosoloso Educational Program, which means to revive in Setswana. We focus on providing educational resources and support to schools in underserved and rural communities of South Africa. Schools in these geographic areas lack infrastructure, educational resources, and do not have library facilities and services, including spacing, which is a challenge And in some cases, certain classes are held outside due to limited classrooms. We are a registered nonprofit startup in South Africa. Our mission is to promote a culture of reading, improve literacy while preserving our heritage, and deliver skills in rural communities. With 11 official languages and numerous ethnic groups, preserving our heritage while promoting literacy became an important element. We transform communities through education by increasing success rate of students transitioning out of poverty. We provide accessibility to technology, educational content, and resources. We also provide training programs to promote successful engagement and teaching experience between students and teachers. I just want to highlight some of our key projects and outcomes. This includes our self-published bilingual books, which has reached over 50 primary schools in deep rural villages. Training workshops with supplementary material and lesson plans supporting our numerous teachers in multiple schools. We facilitate training workshops on visualizing figures for effective spelling, reading techniques, and have adopted the phonographics technique, which is using letters as pictures of sounds to form words, and interactive and engaged learning. We have distributed over 3,000 books across primary schools in the regions. We've set up library corners for 366 learners, as well as establishing after-school computer science clubs, which is formed outside the curriculum. And well before the pandemic, we adopted UNICEF's Tippy Tap initiative to promote good hygiene and improve child healthcare in order to reduce absenteeism, especially in the colder winter months. Who knew an old 2-liter cool drink bottle and a straw would promote healthy hygiene in schools that struggle with access to water and electricity? Our most recent key project that we've embarked on is our Google Computer Science First Intro to Coding and Computer Science Concepts program through block-based programming language using the Scratch platform. And before we move on to the next slide, I just want to play you a small video clip of some of our initiative and some of the programs and projects that we have embarked on. And this would not have been possible without our great partnerships and collaboration with some of the organizations that I've listed here at the bottom of this slide. I want to highlight challenges using our ecosystem interaction and key role players and influencers. Our main challenges since we set out is funding. Being a small startup, you competing with more seasoned nonprofits that have been in the industry a long time and have monopolized specific regions. Stakeholder involvement across the ecosystem, including policymakers, government entities, community leaders, beneficiaries who are our parents and learners, private sector, venture capitalists, volunteers, and foundations are a challenge in obtaining buy-in. They all want to know what's in it for me. If we look at stakeholder involvement, our experience in influencing communities, particularly parents and educators, has been one of our biggest challenge given that the communities are at the base of the pyramid from a hierarchy of needs perspective. Education takes the back seat and important needs such as shelter, food, water takes precedence, rightfully so. Therefore, getting community support for driving something that is intangible at the point in time and does not generate immediate results is a challenge. The analogy of peeling an onion, which is on the upcoming slide, it is layers upon layers to reach the core. We can't turn a blind eye, but one needs to be careful not to stray away from our mission. We need to understand and align their needs, passion, and beliefs with what we are trying to achieve. We have a high dependency on the consistency of volunteers, and sometimes that can pose as a challenge as well. Infrastructure in these regions is a challenge, especially because some of these regions have no electricity, and some there is very high power outages and low bandwidth. Really, when it comes to challenges and our primary challenge, I made this analogy in my previous slide of peeling an onion. It is layers upon layers to reach the core. However, when it comes to providing at the base of the pyramid, basic hierarchy of needs like shelter, food, water takes precedence. And therefore you are having to compete with these equally important key elements. Let's look at what we are doing and how we have pivoted to align with being technologically focused and promoting experiential learning amongst our learners using technology as a driver by incorporating the highlighted items from this EdTech landscape. I've highlighted our involvement and elements we focus on. Moving from the far right to the left, we have been afforded amazing opportunities, and pre-COVID, we partnered with Google's Next Generation Computer Science project to introduce coding and computer science to students in underserved communities. We established school clubs outside the curriculum. Using the Scratch learning platform, enabled our learners to collaborate and work together in teams. Be creative using storytelling, art, gaming design, hobbies such as sport to express their interests using coding to tell their story. We currently provide some offline content and develop lesson plans and plan to expand on this offering. Our focus is on early childhood education with focus in promoting literacy, the ability to read and write at an early age, and simultaneously introducing STEM programs to keep up with the technology demand and constant changes. This slide illustrates one of our lab rooms at one of our adopted schools where our computer clubs learn coding using the Scratch learning platform. This block-based programming approach gave the learners a sense of interest, accomplishment, understanding, and fundamentals of coding as they learn the critical thinking fundamentals and sequence of events in building programs. The program allows students to drag and drop the blocks to follow a sequence of events and scenarios. In addition to integrating technology into learning theory, creative learning methodologies and introducing offline technologies such as augmented reality and virtual reality To bring the world and reality to these rural schools will expand the interest of STEM as a career choice within young girls in rural communities and reach the desired social breakthrough and advancement to positively disrupt the use of and access to information, and as a result, spread the freedom of opportunities. We believe that learning to solve a problem through case studies and simulation is often effective than the traditional methods of learning and memorizing formulas. It's about having accessibility to the formula and knowing how and where to apply and navigating and solving the challenges. However, due to our unique challenges, we need to implement suitable solutions. There is no shotgun approach. We can't assume that a single solution is applicable in every situation. Therefore, just as content is widely available online in other parts of the world, this may not be true to some parts of the world which we struggle with infrastructure and connectivity. So, how do we adjust? We offer a database of offline content and library resources. While game changing tech such as artificial intelligence and augmented reality is creating big waves in developed nations, it's not to say we should not be thinking about this technology in classrooms, but how can we tailor it to meet our unique challenges, such as offline offering? In order to effectively participate in the global economy, we've had to keep up with the times and adjust to effective learning methods. Our goals is to continue working to deploy fully functional solar powered library facilities using donated shipping containers. We want to continue with our offline content offering and introduce energy efficient technology enabled resources and digital content learning platforms. We want to extend our after school STEAM program to promote innovation and entrepreneurship to more regions. We want to work towards augmented reality and virtual reality learning to the schools in an effort to improve performance ranking in mathematics and science. And while we coming to conclude with this presentation, I want to emphasize some of our key learnings. And the most important one that we've learned is to continuously check ourselves. If the model is not working, don't be afraid to go back to the drawing board without compromising your mission, but complementing it. Be open to partnerships and collaboration. This has certainly helped us move the needle in the impact we've made. I want to thank you all for allowing me to share our small part in this important work. I look forward to being part of this community and connecting with many of you as we continue to work together and learn from one another. Information about our program is at the bottom right corner of the slide if you'd like to connect with us or find out more about our program. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.